How do?
Well, hello.
Tony Axeman Wilson. That's my name for him.
It's the X. I'm not like that anymore.
Axeman. No. So firstly, those that are new to the channel, there's a lot of you, right? I'm an ex-prison officer. Some people would say I was part of the problem being in the system. Obviously get out vlogging, criminal justice, mental health, and what's happening in the world. This, I enjoy meeting people. I've talked to Tony before. He's got a bit of news for us. Come June next year, we will be having some very frank conversations. He will be free of the criminal justice system for the first time in almost 20 years. No license, no nothing. And like I said, they will be brutal conversations. We will do some walk and talks with Tony. So basically Strangeways, which was his second home for
4 years I'd spent there, and I was allowed a cup and a quilt. That was my life of privilege. Yeah. A cup and a quilt.
On the Axeman front, right, that's what I call him.
It was a machete.
You would be a machete, was it? Sorry.
No, sorry, a meat cleaver.
A meat cleaver. You'd be very mistaken if you just looked at that. He is an intelligent lad. You know, I've got on with him from day one. We come from very different backgrounds. And that's where we're at. So, in brief, Tony, tell us about the IPP prison sentence you received and the license and where you are now.
Right. In 2005, in April 2000.
I should explain, if you need subtitles, he's a Samworth lad, or Farney, which is it classed as Bolton? Bolton. That's Bolton to you and me.
I was born in Townley's Hospital.
Right, crack on, lad.
Right, in April 2005, Blunkett, the Home Secretary, brought out the IPP sentence, and that was in April 2005. I committed my offence in May 2005, so I fell under the IPP umbrella. Because I'd got previous convictions for violence, and I was up for a serious wounding with a neighbour from hell, which I shouldn't have done what I did, but it happened. I got 3 years and 2 months tariff.
Explain what a tariff is, Tony.
A tariff is the minimum you serve before you go up for parole. Now, when I first got that, my barrister said, oh, keep your nose clean, 3 years, 2 months, you'll be laughing, you'll be out, end of. What a crock of shit that was. Excuse my French, by the way. I could have gone down 2 roads. There's 2 roads in Strangeways. There's the dark side and the normal side where you crack on and do what you've got to do. I decided to crack on and do what I had to do, because had I took the dark side, I'd still be in there now like a lot are, and you can't get out. So I decided to toe the line. Now, I was evaluated by the psychologist in Strangeways, and they was doing a psychopathy test, and I thought, oh, it's nothing this, but it was very important. Unbeknownst to me, the difference would have been being sent to Channings Wood to do a 2-year violent offender course called Cognitive Self-Change, or going to a severe personality disorder unit in Frankland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where it was a 5-year assessment, a 5-year course, and then you're talking 10 years to get out. So I'd have still been stuck in the system one way or another anyway. But when they assessed me, they said I've not got a personality disorder, because I've got empathy and I've got perspective. I can perspective take and a few other reasons. So they said the reason I committed my offence is I felt under threat, and my family was under threat. So I will protect my family no matter what, and that's why I committed the offence. So they didn't class me as a psychopath, basically. I thought that was all right. So anyway, I spent 4 years in Strangeways awaiting my place at Channings Wood. They wouldn't send me to any other jail, so I spent 4 years there. It went quite quick. I was on B wing, A wing, and then C wing, and then I moved to Channings Wood and I did my cognitive self-change. It was a classroom environment from 9 in the morning, or about 9:30 in the morning, till 3:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 days a week for 2 years. And they change your way of thinking.
That is intense, that.
Yeah, it was very intense, but it worked. Because what they did, and it was very subtle what they did, you got every day you'd have some sort of incident, and then what they got you to do is, when that incident happened, what was you thinking? How did it make you feel? And what your reaction were. So at the beginning, if a situation happened, straight away I'm thinking, this cunt's taking the piss, I'm going to fill him in.
Pardon his French.
Yes.
Go on.
I am sorry for that.
No, go on.
So I am speaking in context.
No, yeah, it's fine.
So then they'd say, right, this is what your pattern is. An incident will occur. I will get a thought about that incident. It will make me feel a certain way, and I will react to that feeling. So them thoughts and feelings come about because of my beliefs and what I believe, yeah. So I had to totally change all my beliefs in order for my thoughts to change, in order for my reactions to change. You still get them feelings, but you're better able to cope
so
with
where
every day I would have an incident, yeah, and then I would give a check-in of how I reacted to that incident, what thoughts I was having, what feelings I was having. And over time of doing that day in, day out, I started recognising when situations happened, the thoughts I were getting, the feelings they were invoking, and my reactions. So I was able to change them.
So instead of, if you felt threatened, you're fighting, which is how you were brought
I had
up.
no fight or flight, me. It was in head first. He was either go head on. I never backed away from a fight in my life. And the police always arrested the winner. You either go to hospital or you go to prison. And 9 times, 100 times out of 10,
if you get best of someone, you're done, aren't you?
You go in prison, yeah. And that's what happened. My first offence was police assault. Now that sounds bad on the face of it, but there was 3 assaults to get there. And that I was in a taxi rank, waiting for my taxi. A guy come flying past me and jumped in the taxi. My old thoughts then were, this guy thinks I'm a knob. I'm going to show him what a knob is. He's taking the piss, he's mugging me off. That makes me feel, well, if I don't do something about it, he's going to think I'm a shitbag.
How many crimes are committed because people think them thoughts?
Yeah, so I grabbed him out of the taxi and levered him at the sidewalk and then on the pavement. Then got in the taxi, and the taxi driver wouldn't drive off. So I levered him in his, because I thought, right, he's taking the piss. I was in the right and he won't drive off. So I hit him as well. So then the police were called, and they just 4 of them trying to arrest me, and I wasn't fighting back fists wise, but I was resisting, and they was finding it difficult to get the cuffs on. So they decided to go for my face, and they was grabbing my face with the thumb. They made the mistake and put the thumb in my mouth. So I just went, and he squealed like a pig. Let him go, crying like a baby. So I'm at it. If you carry on, I'll bite it off. So I got sent to DC then, detention centre.
Okay.
Newhall.
Newhall
They'd
Rebel.
never met no one like me. 3 months, yeah. That's the worst they could do. I walked into Newhall and there was a white line, and if you stepped over that white
How old
line,
were you then?
I was 20, 18, I think. And he punched me in the face. So from that moment on, I was at war with them. So I wouldn't do nothing. I wouldn't do as I was told. I wouldn't do I spent 56 days in the block. And right at the end, they said that they could take me back to court and get me more time. And when I was sat outside the office, I heard them saying, "Nah, get him out of here.
We don't want him.
Don't want him. Yeah, get him out of here." Because I'm at it, bring it on. 6 months is fuck all. I'll do that, stood on my head. But when they were beating me up in the cells and then they come back half an hour later, have you learnt your lesson? I'd be at it. What is that best you can do? I got better off that when I was 5 off my dad. you know, stuff like that.
It's not bravado, this is how he's told
That's
it.
how
His
it
life's
was,
all
that's
been
how-
about violence,
yeah.
rough upbringing, and never backing down.
Well, I was tortured as a kid as well, you know, so it weren't good.
We will cover all that. He's also pretty much lifelong heroin addict.
Yeah, well, when I was 20 years old, I got done for violence, got sent to Strangeways, first time ever been there. I was on K423, which I ended up 20 years later being in the same cell.
Yeah.
And then at 7 o'clock, the door opened, a guy walked in, he'd got a parcel in, so he got it out, and then he asked me if I wanted anything, and I was naive as fuck. I'd been in the care system, so I'd never had cannabis, I'd never had nothing. I smoked cigarettes, that was it. So I said, yeah, I'll have some. So he said, whatever you do, don't go outside that door, you'll bring it right on top. I was smashed, but I liked it.
Did you smoke it?
Yeah, on the foil, yeah.
And was that it? You were done then?
Well, as soon as I got out, I was like, how can I get more of this? And because I was good at scrapping, eventually I bumped into a girl who taught me the ropes of how to buy so much and then break it down into deals and then sell it
To feed your habit?
to feed my habit. And I ended up doing that for 25 years. I do apologise for that.
Oh, that's fine, that's only.
I'll turn it off. So I ended up dealing drugs for 25 years.
Let's get back to where you are now then. And we will tell his full story, walk and talk round Strangeways. So where are you now?
I am now at the end. Almost at the end. Yeah, I'm well at the end.
What do rule changes mean?
Right, the new rule changes that have come out are when you first got IPP, you had to do 10 years in the community and then you go up for parole, and you were, you know,
This is a parole board in the community.
in the community, yeah.
It's the
which
only
is-
sentence, isn't it?
Yeah, and also 4 to 5 years into it, you can apply to probation to squash or suspend your supervision, which they didn't do with me. I'm still on supervision now after 11 years, which I kicked off about, and I managed to change my probation officer. But a few weeks ago, I was reading on the newsletters that I get, and it had been in Parliament about the IPP sentence and how abhorrent they used the word abhorrent, and that's it. If you look what that word means, it's like,
In brief, right, this IPP sentence was designed for serious offenders, high risk, extremely violent, and for sex offenders.
Yeah.
And it's about risk. If your risk,
I accept that I probably did deserve to get the sentence.
you're probably one of few people I've met who said, yeah, hands up, I was violent.
Yeah, but I didn't. What I didn't deserve was the way they've treated me while I've been on it. You know, disgusting. The probation never did the job. They should have suspended my supervision 6 years in, but they didn't.
We will get into this.
Yeah.
Really.
But
get into
anyway,
it.
when I read the letter a few weeks ago, it's now changed, and the criteria has now changed. So anyone who gets released now from prison, or anyone who's been on licence for 3 years, no matter what the parole board say, no matter what probation say, your licence will be squashed automatically. So if there's anyone out there now who have been in the community for 3 years or more, speak to your probation, because believe you me, the changes are there. Yeah, you've got 4 criteria that you'll need to fit one of them, and luckily for me, I fit one of them. So when I went and saw my probation officer the other day, she said, well, I was expecting my parole to be up in June 25.
Yeah.
She said, no, June next year.
So you're done then?
I'm done.
And that's when we can speak freely.
Yeah.
In brief, if people don't understand this IPP sentence, so it was made, or it was for high risk offenders.
It was mainly. I'll tell you, it was two sets of offenders, right? It was for the violent offender, which I was, I'll admit it, I've got 18 previous convictions for violence, so I come under the criteria of a violent offender. That's what I am. And also for nasty sexual offenders. Yeah? Was. I've not committed an offence since. I had an incident the other day which was...
It's 20 years that, isn't it?
Yeah, since 2005 I've not had anything. Well, but I've had a few incidents, but I've managed to sort them out. Like the other day, someone blocked me in and I said, will you move? And they said, no, I won't fucking move. Why have you took my parking space? And I got angry. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck, and I said something that straight away I knew I shouldn't have said. But I apologised, and then I went and got a professional to deal with it.
Can I just ask you, this course you did, which was very intense, you're talking 5 days a week.
For 2 years.
For 2 years. How many prisoners do you think would benefit from doing that course?
Well, if you're a violent offender, a lot, but you've got to be willing to soak it up. And you've got to be willing, if you fight the system, if you try and lie, if you try and con them, they'll root you out. You've got to want to change. And I did. I really seriously did want to change. I was sick of it. I was sick of getting angry all the time.
Again, back to the IPP, I'll tell you now, I know 3 siblings, 2 lasses and a lad, bless them, whose brothers are locked up, got this IPP sentence. The biggest tariff was 3.5 years. I think one got 2, one got 2.5, one got 3.5 year tariff. All non-violent, non-high risk crime. One's coming up to 14, 15 years. One's coming up to 16, 17. And one has almost done 20 years behind bars on this sentence, stuck in the system.
Well, there's some news on that as well. Apparently it's going through Parliament. David Blunkett was the Home Secretary. I don't know if you remember him. He was the blind one.
Blind, yeah.
He brought it out, IPP, and if you speak to him today and mention IPP, he will say that was the biggest mistake he made in politics. He said he regrets that decision to bring that sentence out.
But it was misused, Tony, wasn't it?
It was misused by
the idea
courts.
Was right.
Yeah. If they'd have stuck to just people, wrong-uns, I shouldn't say that word, sex offenders and violent offenders, if they'd have stuck to them. But like I know someone who stole a phone and he's been in 11 years for nicking a phone. Now, where do they draw the line after someone's done 30 years for a non-violent, non-sexual offence? They've started to realise now. So the government are going to take these people who are in prison back to court and re-sentence them. They'll walk immediately. The judge, even
we've discussed, the thing is, Tony, you're saying they'll walk immediately. I know what you mean. But if you've done 14, 15 years, 17 and 20 years, with no light at the end, you're going to need some help, aren't you?
Well,
because when them lads come out, they're all going to be lads and lasses.
Yeah, well, they won't be on probation though. They won't have any help. They won't have any.
They're going to need support, aren't they?
Well, they have to pay them. They have to give them financial help. But there won't be any help for them because they won't be on licence.
No.
They won't be on probation.
No.
They'll get, even if they all got 10 years, then they'd say, right, well, you've done your 10 years and you've done your licence, so you're free to go. And they'll just release them from wherever they are with nothing, with a 4 days pay, 4 days gyro. That's it. That's all they'll get. 100 quid. State. They'll have done 14 years in jail and they'll get 100 quid if they're lucky, 200. And no clothing, no nothing. And they won't even get a hostel, so they'll not even have anywhere to stay.
It's a fucked up system, innit, mate?
Yeah, but it's going to be sad for them. They're going to have nowhere to go, mate.
Have you put out there what we need to put out there?
I haven't. No, I'm trying now by telling you.
Yeah.
What?
The new rules, where we're at, and come June.
Yeah, the new rules are, if you're on my PP and you've been released and you've done 3 years or more, your licence will automatically be squashed. Yeah, and also, I think you can get your supervision squashed after 2 years, but I'm not 100% sure of that. What did it say? Did you read it?
Yeah, but
it said 3 years, didn't it?
It all needs clarifying.
But it's definitely changes afoot. It's about time.
That's Tony Wilson. He's looking a lot better than last time I met him.
Well, yeah, I was in a dark place last time.
June, very frank conversations, walk and talk around Strangeways Prison where I used to work and Tony was incarcerated. Our paths did cross,
I
didn't
know
they?
we can nip into the Ark as well and have something to eat and a coffee. It's just there.
There we go. Job's a good one. Tony
Yeah.
Wilson, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
All right.
We'll see you soon. Thanks for coming. God bless Al City.
Bye.